I think with that, I'd like to invite Kathy Stevens to say a few opening remarks.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Welcome. I know this has been a challenging time for everyone. So I hope that you and your families and loved ones are all healthy at this point and remain that way. And I mean that both for your physical health and for your mental health, because I know it's a very challenging time for all of us emotionally and mentally as we work to maintain our personal lives, and then of course all the really important work that we do as a coalition providing English instruction. So I'm going to provide a few overview remarks. Some of you, like I, may have been on a variety of calls from the county with the nonprofit Montgomery group, with HHS. Some of you may not. And let me just pause there. Can everyone hear me okay? Up and down shakes? Yeah, okay, good. Just checking. So right now I'm thinking about two phrases. One is information management, right? There is a lot of information out there, some of which pertains to us in our daily work and our personal lives. Other information which you just kind of have to set aside because it becomes information overload. So what we're going to try to do is focus our information for this meeting and for our ongoing Zoom meetings and trainings that I know we'll be doing, to capture the things that we really think are most important for us as an ESOL network, working with immigrants who don't speak English, and working with many folks who may be really suffering in terms of their housing or their jobs or things like that. So I'm thinking about information management. I'm thinking also about flexible planning. And that means that we want to get some things straight in our head so we know where we're going as a coalition, as an organization. But as information and situations change, we're remaining flexible. So certainly we asked many of our grant partners last week, what are you doing for classes? And many of you responded very wisely, either last week or the week before, well, we're suspending for right now. And we know that situation has probably changed. So I'm going to talk about a few things in a minute just to keep us on the right track for that. But those are the kind of the framework that I'm thinking about. Things are shifting. We get a lot of information and we need to process that on a daily basis and make sure you have what you need from us. So certainly we are interested in knowing from you, and you can write your questions in the chat box, or I will entertain a few questions at the end of my remarks. You know, what is most helpful for you at this point? And we also want to make sure that you stay connected with one another. Oftentimes we see each other out and about at different places. Obviously, we have tools for that through our Facebook page, the Google group, and we will be doing more Zoom meetings like this so that you can stay connected, ask questions, and keep up on the most relevant and recent information that's going to affect how you do your work and how you stay connected with your learners. So just a few overview notes in case people don't know about these resources from the county. I think I saw Anna DeNicolo from the Gilchrist Center join. The Gilchrist Center website is great, and they have their phone line. And maybe Anna can type that in the chat because I don't have it memorized yet, but their phone line is up and running and available in different languages for folks to access resources. So if you don't have access to that already, and or you haven't shared it with your learners already, that would be a resource to recommend. In addition, the county's 311 line is taking calls and questions in some different languages. Again, that's a resource for you and your learners. And finally, the Health and Human Services website with everything you need to know or didn't think you needed to know about the COVID-19 virus. And they are working quickly to get some of that information or most of that information translated. I don't think it's all there yet, so continue to watch for ongoing developments. And we have linked to several of those websites on our homepage of our website. So again, if you need just one go-to spot, our homepage is where we're collecting things on that. A lot is happening in the county with different nonprofits. Some of those that you all work with or close to may be involved in providing additional services around food or mental health or housing and things like that. Nonprofit Montgomery has a great website page with all kinds of resources for you there. They are hosting weekly calls, usually 11 or 11:30 on Wednesdays, and you can sign up to be on those. There have been several hundred people on each of those calls. One thing that the county is doing, it's not quite passed yet, at least the latest information is there is a proposed legislation for $25 million in what I would call relief funding. I'm sure it has a more technical name than that. That will be available to small businesses, to nonprofits, to sole proprietorship. So again, that may be something that particular organizations might need to take advantage of. Again, I don't have the details. Those details will be forthcoming on the county's website, but that might be something for your own organizations or people in your circles, whether it's learners or other clients that you might be serving. I think I'm sure the big question on many of our grant partners' minds is about funding both for FY20 and FY21. I'm going to give just a brief overview right now. We will be scheduling a Zoom meeting just for our grant partners and probably be doing one-on-one calls or emails or meetings with you all, since different circumstances may be in play for your organizations. But right now for FY20 funding, there will be the ability to have some budget modifications. As you look at your budget, I'm assuming most of you will not be spending the budget in exactly the same way as was originally planned for this session through June 30th. So please know that our staff will work with you to make those modifications, and that the county is implementing for other county contracts as well. So again, we ask that you be in touch with us, and Rudy and Christine and Halima will be organizing some outgoing information, and like I said, we'll probably do an information session or develop some FAQs around that as you think through your budgets for this year. For next year's budgeting for grant applicants, I want to make sure that anyone on this call did see that we extended the deadline. The new deadline for FY21 grant applications is now going to be April 14th. So please let your grant writers know, or whoever internally is responsible for working with you on that. We have extended that by 1 week. The FY21 budget is very much up in the air. Last week, the county executive sent the proposed budget to the council, and almost as soon as it was printed, so to speak, it became kind of a worthless budget, if you will, with obviously the change and new needs and economic challenges that we're all facing. MCAEL was very pleased to know that we had earned a $150,000 increase to our budget. With that budget, I don't know whether we will enjoy actually seeing that. Like I said, things are in flux. Obviously, we have a great case to make about the work that you all will need to be doing, particularly if people who might not have been in a learner mode are shifting, as they may lose a job or someone may be home unexpectedly. We don't know exactly how to anticipate what will happen, but certainly we will be advocating for continued strong support for the sector, while knowing and being sensitive to the increased needs in other areas as well. So I'm in active conversations with the Office of Management and Budget, and we're continuing to work on that as well. So we have a great little presentation prepared for you today. I think we want to make sure that we get information and share information, and we see this as the first step in a series of these kinds of things that we'll be doing, whether it's bringing meetings together maybe in smaller groups for people to talk and share ideas. We'll be providing resources, and we want to hear from you about your particular needs. Again, you can use the chat function to, if you have an idea about specific training or resources or technology. I want to be able to collect those and work kind of on a global level to help provide those. So Again, we welcome emails and phone calls. For me, I'd be happy to address any particular questions. And with that, I think I'm going to just pause there just to see if there are any quick clarification questions or burning questions that folks have before I turn it back to Rudy. Again, you can write a question in the chat function, and Halima will let us know.
And we can also pick up on those questions later as well, because Kathy will be on the line the whole meeting.
Absolutely. So thank you all for your time and your continued work. We appreciate it. And Rudy, I'll turn it to you.
All right. Thanks. So just first a word about just the structure of our meeting. We'd like to try to keep it to an hour. In what we were thinking of doing first is hearing from all of you and finding out where you are in your program now. And I'd like to check and see if our poll is working. No? Okay. So we'd like to know where you are in this continuum. One, whether you are continuing instruction online now, planning to teach online in the near future, unsure, or canceling classes through June 30th. We had prepared a poll, but unfortunately that's not working. So if you could just write in the chat box to keep this a little bit organized. Let's start with, are there those online who are continuing instruction online now? First. And Halima, would you, maybe we can unmute Halima? So, and if there are those who would like to speak a little bit about their experience with continuing on instruction online. I see Emma Wilson is on with us, so I wondered whether Emma would like to say a few words about how things are going.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
And Christine, sorry,
okay,
we'll unmute.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I think that I'm muted now. This is Emma Wilson, Montgomery College.
Thank you.
Adult ESOL and Literacy Program. Hope everybody's doing well, staying healthy. The ESOL program at Montgomery College has continuing instruction. We received support from Montgomery College to provide an online platform for our teachers. We're using Zoom. So we went in and did training during our spring break, and classes continued or resumed online. We're seeing good attendance. We're seeing different needs from students, from healthcare, from childcare, from employment, from health, mental health. We're trying to tap into our networks to support our students. And we have seen an increase in attendance because there are folks in the houses that are not our students, but they're also participating and receiving instruction from just sitting next to our student and interacting. It's been a very rewarding experience for the teachers. It's been challenging. We are addressing technical challenges and planning for additional training, but I think that at least we are continuing to engage the students, and the students are responding well. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or just ask now.
Okay, well, it's good to hear that you have an increasing attendance.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see that, because I mean, we are not counting those students because they're not our students, but we're happy to continue to engage folks that need language development regardless of. We are seeing classes that have at least 7 students. The largest class that I saw had 18.
Mhm.
which is a good number.
Yes.
So from the poll that we have, I see more of continuing to teach classes online. B seems to be more of the answers.
B is planning to teach online.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. I wondered, I saw that Ahu is on the line also, and I know that you're continuing to teach. How is that going?
Hi everyone, this is Aho from the Literacy Council. We are currently having all of our classes online, but we really had to work a lot to make sure that students know that we will do it online. So between March 16 and March 20, we did some video recordings. We do not use Zoom, we use Google Hangouts.
Mm-hmm.
So we did Hangouts trainings for teachers and students, but at the same time, it took us a lot of time to reach out to students and to confirm their email addresses and contact information. I think I have logged on to many classes, and classes are really going on well. Teachers are trying to figure out how to make this online learning a lot more, practical. They are learning new tricks and tips. So this week, 19 of our classes have started doing it online, and we have 5 or 6 starting next week, including new spring classes. We are very excited about this, and we are all learning, as we go through this, but I'm happy with our progress.
Thank you, Ahu.
No problem.
As for those who are planning to teach online, I know that there are a number of you who have said you are at this stage. In the chat box, I'd like to ask you if you want to speak, to say that you'd like to speak, we will unmute you then. I'd like to take maybe 3 or 4 examples of folks who are at this stage.
For organizations that are that have answered B or C, is there anything that MCAEL could assist you with in terms of technical assistance, to offer any support?
If I might, I'm sorry, Halima. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll just ask where people are at this point, and then we'll get to how MCAEL can support the programs. And I'm sorry if I probably forgot to say that. We were going to do an online check-in, a check-in with everybody first to see how you're doing. And then after that, we will go into some things that we initially have thought of to help support programs. And then we will also ask for ideas there about how to support programs. So, so I see that Rosa would like to speak.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hi. So yeah, my name is Rosa. I'm from Cape Ann Training Center, and we've been having a little bit tough time since there were no classes, and we couldn't get we couldn't figure out how long these classes were going to be suspended. And but now we started calling our students to see if they will be interested in continuing our classes online. And I would say we are almost done with I would say 80% of the preparation. At least most of our students are willing to participate in the online class. And we chose Google Hangout Meet by discussing with the teachers as well as the some of the students who are tech savvy. So tomorrow is going to be a trial day, which we will call each and every student to set up the application on their cell phone. And we will see, we are, knock on the wood, we are planning to start our class next week. The challenge that I feel like we're gonna face is not every student is tech savvy, and not all of them have smartphone. So that's gonna be our challenge. But I'm hoping, and I'm really have a good feeling about this, that the program will be successful online. Yeah, that's what we have so far. But as far as calling and checking on our students, we've been doing that, and everybody's doing well, except you know, the stress of staying home and doing, you know, not working, not going to class. So hopefully this will lift their spirit. Yeah,
That's
thank you.
wonderful to hear that you're going to be starting so soon on this.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
And I see Chow Chow would like to speak.
Everybody hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tata Liu from CCACC. This past 2 weeks is crazy, yeah, with the pandemic and everything. But we try to, you know, let everyone keep the learning opportunity. So for the past 2 weeks, first I have contacted students and they want to continue learning. And then I have contacted my instructors and then also give them some Zoom training, including myself. Yeah, we all, you know, doing the host at the same time. So for, you know, for the first time, now we are almost ready. Starting April, next Wednesday, will be our first class. So we will have one ESOL class every morning from 10 to 12 for like 5 days a week, starting April 1st, next Wednesday. So we'll find out. Yeah, we are still learning, but everybody is excited.
And so are you planning to do that for different levels, or is one
Yes.
class?
Yeah, because I have different level on each day, different day. So Monday is my ESOL 1, Tuesday will be ESOL 2, Wednesday and Friday ESOL 3. So, and Saturday will be conversation class, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So all different teachers.
Mm-hmm. And do you have an indication of how many of your learners will be able to join online?
I think from what I had before, it's around, you know, within 10. But with this situation, I'm actually expecting more. Some people, they could not join us our face-to-face class before, and now they can. Now they have the time at home. So I will actually expecting more participants than before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I will find out next week.
That's great. I know we have a very active chat going on, and so I urge people to look at people's contributions there to get ideas. Would anybody else like to speak at this point and share what they are doing?
Maybe we should just move on, Rudy, because I think
Okay.
there's a lot that we're going to get to in terms of needs that I'm seeing in the chat.
Okay. So thank you, everybody, for giving us an indication of where you are in your programs. As Rosa and Chow Chow actually alluded to, and a lot of things in the chat box about this, if you're not teaching online yet, here are some things to think about. Of course, having the learners' contact information, especially email addresses and what they need to get onto whatever platform that you are thinking about. Their digital literacy and skills and access to devices. And obviously this has to do with also what kind of platform you decide to go with. Access to a learner management system and our educational materials. So how are you going to track or monitor your learners and how they are doing? as well as, of course, guidelines from your program or your school and department, meaning do you have access to equipment from them, and anything else that, especially if you are within a larger system. As I said, there are some additional things in the chat function to this, and I urge you, if you have other ideas, please do put them in the chat box. So let's move on now to what MCAEL is thinking initially in order to support programs. And this is, of course, as it says, initial. So one of the things that we can do is to provide support for Zoom or other online meeting platforms, subscriptions to those services that are not free, although some of them are free. To facilitate training on Zoom, at least Zoom is the platform that MCAEL uses, and that a lot of other organizations have chosen. So we can facilitate training on that, but also on other platforms as well, especially when we hear back from different programs on what you have chosen. If there are ones that, and we'd like to hear from you, what ones have been working well for you.
Rudy?
Yes.
Excuse me, I just want to interject as I was following the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Several people have wanted to know kind of some comparisons and trainings between Zoom, Google Hangouts, and maybe some others. And we certainly can provide some comparisons. I've also seen a bunch of questions about which devices your learners can use, and we can provide that as well. Zoom can be used on all different devices. I saw that Emma wrote that people in her program are using a wide range of devices, including just calling in on the phone. So again, we will, it sounds like we have some tailored trainings to develop, but we certainly are tracking all the chat things. I'm sorry to interject with that, but I just didn't want to.
That's good, because I can't keep up. It's going fast, so I can't keep up with all that's in the chat box. That's great. We can continue to have weekly group network check-ins like this one, either for the larger group or actually subgroups, if that makes sense. For instance, if there's a particular group that's working with a particular platform, and we could start like a community of practice for each of those. As Kathy mentioned earlier, individual consultations, and we will definitely be doing those with grantee partners in terms of, shifting your budget line items around as you need to, as we work to help you get online. But also we welcome other organizations who are not receiving grants from MCAEL to contact us, and we'd be happy to talk with you about options for your programs. And as we're already doing, providing list of free online resources, the landing page or the home page of the MCAEL website has some of these resources already, and will be continually adding to that. So those are just a few things that we had thought of up front. So I'd like to open the chat. If you would put other ideas on there, and I would like to ask Halima's help then in identifying some perhaps people who we might call upon to add to the ideas for support.
I will just note one thing that's happening in the chat while Halima looks for some things, that there is a caution about recording students with confidentiality issues. So we will certainly provide some written guidance on that. Certainly providing your own recordings to your instructors and learners about how to do something, or recorded lessons is a different indication. But thank you, Emma, for those words of wisdom. And I'm seeing a couple things too that people are offering about recorded videos that you've done, recorded things that you could share, and we will definitely take you up on that option. Halima, go ahead.
So one of the questions I see is, are most programs holding classes on smartphones or on laptops? And I think we sort of talked about that. With Zoom, you can definitely use cell phones. either you can call in or you can just download the app and just use it that way. And I believe Google Hangouts also has that, that feature. Yeah. The other question is, would MCAEL provide Zoom training for instructors?
Yes, we can do that, definitely.
Yeah, I think this information from this meeting will guide our development of a series of trainings and recordations for people to get back to. And again, we will collect any resources that you all have too and share them out. I think this is a great moment for collaboration among the programs so that not everybody is having to, as they say, invent the wheel at this moment. And I know certain organizations will be more able than others to do that.
Monica is asking, is there a need for volunteers, virtual volunteers? Are people currently using virtual volunteers?
I think we don't know yet on that, but that's a great question. So if that, maybe there's some advice we can give to on folks recruiting and or using volunteers. I think there are probably a lot of people whose schedules have shifted and they might be able to help out in a virtual way, whether it is with training or assisting with classes or contacting learners. It certainly is an opportunity for people to have some more one-on-one contact if that's where the help is needed.
And I see that the three kind of platforms that people are mentioning are Zoom, Google Hangouts, and Facebook Live. Are there any other ones that, major ones that people are considering or using?
I see Adrian shaking his head no.
For people who are using Facebook Live, are you using that on a private group or on your organization's group, main group?
That's a good question.
Okay, well, this is helpful though in terms of identifying those main platforms. So we've already got an idea of the kinds of questions that people have about platforms, about devices.
And just to be clear, we will provide as much training on a wide variety of platforms as we can. Yvonne just asked, will we provide on other platforms? Mm-hmm. And certainly we will. I think we will stay limited to the top maybe 3 or 4 platforms that people are using and using successfully and not using with high costs. But as Rudy just said in this slide, support for Zoom or other online meeting platform subscriptions, that does mean funding. So if folks need funding on that, that's funding and technical assistance.
Yes, okay.
Stacy, with contacting students about the Zoom meeting, you can send them the link via email, or you can text it to them, or you can also just send them the meeting ID and password if it's a private meeting.
Okay. Well, it sounds like there's a great interest in identifying platforms, training on those platforms, including what devices that people can use. Okay, thanks. So I see more questions about a possible, that we could incorporate into a possible Zoom training. Yeah. Okay, so perhaps, let's see.
There's another question about how do you put slides, PowerPoint for classes? Right below where, at the bottom, where it says participant, you'll also see share screen. if you have the PowerPoint on your computer and you click on that, it will share your screen.
And again, we can incorporate these into specific training so you have that by your side when you need it. We'll figure out whether handouts or virtual trainings are the best for those.
And we'll save these questions so that we can incorporate it in the next session that we have. But if you have other questions, you can also email us ahead of time.
So again, our programs unit will be meeting actually on Monday as a follow-up to this meeting to plan how we move forward from here in terms of workshops, trainings, and meetings. So Kathy, did you want to say anything else before? I mean, I don't want to cut this off too soon, but it sounds like the questions that we're getting now are fairly specific for different platforms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. And Christine, thank you. Has just put up a slide with just 2 quick good resources that we've found on some resources for online instruction. So you certainly can take a look at that. And as Rudy just said, I think we now have good information to, as I said, develop a training schedule. And some of that may be that we're going to send out some links, have people watch those, come together for a Q&A. We'll figure out the best format. Certainly could figure out how we could do some one-on-ones if people are having particular challenges, and or connect you with other programs that have implemented something like you want to do. So we will collect our follow-up and create a schedule and publish what we're going to do, and again provide things on different mediums and that kind of thing. There is a good question from Anna. What is the URL for the first link? We will find that. We will also, Anna, what we'll do is share these slides so that you can have that and access that. I realize that would be helpful as well. So I think, Rudy, do you just want me to bring together a few closing remarks?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. So again, folks, thank you so much. I actually am very, very proud of everybody to see so much of what people have accomplished over the last week or 10 days. I haven't added up everyone that is currently online or definitely planning to go online, but it sounds like people have made great strides. And I know it hasn't been easy to shift your programs, your instructors, and the learners, but it is actually really interesting to me to see and hear the some of the increased numbers just by nature of the fact that someone who is in the class and is at home with another family member who could take advantage of the class is actually now able to do so. So I'm not sure how we're going to reflect that in numbers to the county, but you better believe I am going to make a point of that you all have been very successful. And again, this points to the success of the coalition and your hard work and organization with your instructors and your other partners. I really think, I think that speaks very well for everything that you're doing. And I'm pleased that I will be able to report this to our board and certainly to our county contract managers and all of that. We are, this is a really important point. And I know there continue to be questions about how we'll work with grant funding. Just saw Cindy had a great question about replaced test taking and evaluation, and certainly graduations. We want to be able to do celebrations and keep people feeling good and connected. We will offer some information on that too as our follow-up. I think those are really good questions. Again, in terms of funding, I just saw some last questions about what MCAEL can do to help funding wise. Please contact us directly. We have funds that we can make available. And if you have money in your budget that was going to be used for a different purpose, and that purpose is no longer available due to the situation that we're in, please contact us and we'll provide more information about budget modifications as well. So I just want to end by thanking everyone. I mean, this was a really, I hope you found this useful. We will plan other ones. Let us know what else would be useful for you. Clearly, we heard the need for training evaluation of platforms and next steps. And we will act on that just as soon as we can next week. And thank everyone for their hard work and information sharing. Like I said at the beginning, there's information management, but there's something that you've come across that's working for you or that's a particular challenge, please share it with us. Please share it in the Google group. That's a great way to have it go out immediately to share with your peers. And really just want to thank you again. And you can always email and call any of us, including me, with any questions, concerns, compliments, all that stuff. So.
And we appreciate people keeping, as Monica says in the chat, keeping their, as they go online, to update their calendar, their items in the MCAEL calendar, because I think that'll be really helpful for folks who are continuing to look for opportunities to learn online.
Mm-hmm. So our goal is to get as many resources out now. We know we have at least another month, so we know we need to act quickly for you all. And when I say at least another month, I guess that's conservative in my mind, and this could open up new doors for us as we go forward and think about how we're going to continue to reach more and more adult learners who want their English. So with that, I'll conclude. Rudy, anything else that I missed?
No, just thanks to everybody for joining us. It's great to be able to meet virtually.
Yeah. All right. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk with you all soon. I would say we'd see you soon, but probably going to talk first.
All right.
All right.
Take
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.